Oh my gosh, Gabriella's here. Caleb's here. Yay. Hi, Caleb.
Hello.
I saw your kids trying to stick bunny tails on your butt the other day.
Yeah, Low Miss was a little in the business.
Yes, she was. Yes, she. Okay. All right.
Adventures.
Yes. Hi, Franco.
Did you see my escapade with the wasp today?
No, not today. Today I've been a little bit of a nervous Nelly. Hey, Gabriella, do
Yes,
you have time to be on this the entire time?
I believe so.
I think I need to make somebody a
Co-host?
yes, if I can remember how to do that. Uh,
Yes, all the way down the bottom.
Host tools.
You, I think you can click her video feed, right click her video feed and make co-host.
Oh. Oh, I see. Well, I can see make host, and that would be okay. Do you want to host this? But I don't see
Not really.
wait, where is co-host then, Caleb? Because I'm not wait, where did Gabriela go? She
I'm
just
here.
oh,
I'm
there you
here.
are. You're in the big one.
Try click
So
participants and
let's
bring up
see if
that
I
window and
can.
see if you can make somebody a co-host there.
Yeah, let's see. The chat.
Is
Yeah,
this a paid Zoom plan or a free?
paid through the
Mm,
nose.
yeah.
All right. Uh,
Let's
all I
see.
see is make host. I don't see make co-host.
Oh, what if you tried on me?
Hold on. Let me get rid of that. Oh, I see.
Mhm.
Julie, hold on. All
Hi,
I see is
Benny.
make host for everybody. What the heck?
Everyone can be host. Okay.
Okay, Raz. Yeah, but
Make me host and see if I can. Let me explore the controls.
okie
I'm
dokie.
nerdy.
All right. Request host to start.
White nerdy.
Yeah, really. Hold on.
You caught me.
Hey, Caleb, just a second.
Uh,
There you go. Do you
Um,
want to change the? I don't know. Hey, Abraham.
I've been trying to log in on my computer. It's not letting me. I just did it on my phone, but I'm trying to get it on my computer.
Hmm.
yeah,
We'll
there's
see if
no.
Caleb can help you with that after he's helped me.
Whatever. I'll just stay on my phone.
Okay.
I have to. I mean, I'm on the damn computer. It's just not letting me log in.
Oh,
I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out.
So what
No,
do you see there,
Effie,
Caleb?
I'm going to put you back as host. There's no co-host permissions on this. I'm not sure why. I've never seen that.
Huh. Okay. All right. So did you make me host again?
You are host.
Hmm.
Hmm. I am host.
you have the reins.
I've got the reins. All right. So, hi, Raz. Nice to see you. Hello, Robin. Thank you
Hey,
for
everyone.
coming very, very much. And I got to tell you, I'm super excited.
That's
I'm
a
very excited.
big deal to get 100 episodes. Pretty. That's pretty cool.
That's true. That's true. It's pretty amazing to see how many folks I've had on
Yeah.
and how many people we have actually helped. Now, I'm not sure why other people aren't quite on yet, other than it's only 3 minutes, but some people did submit some questions. So I'm going to wait until,
I couldn't get on. Like I have to use my phone. Like it wouldn't let. I still can't get on my computer now. I don't know why, but whatever.
neither do I. And I don't know why I can't make anyone a co-host other than you're all my co-hosts. Every single one of you guys have been on my podcast.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Very, very, very much. All I can say is that I really felt I had to do something for the fact that, hi, Ralph. Where's Ralph? I don't see him, but I see his name. The fact that you all helped me and I wouldn't have been able to be here to this number or to any of it without your help has been very, very, very I'm very lucky, and I want to say thank you. A particular thank you to Abraham, who can't get on from the computer.
Caleb just sent me something, so I'm gonna try.
Oh, I see. And a particular thank you to Franco. Both these two dudes have been on multiple times. And they've also helped me an awful lot. And I'm partnering with both of them. So what's the matter with the rest of you guys? Okay. I'm just joking. But well, not really. I am serious. It just dawned on me that I'm partnering with both of them. So I want to start by just saying that yesterday was also my 71st birthday.
Happy
And
birthday.
thank you. Thank you.
Dang,
And
Happy
I
birthday,
remember when
Effie.
you
That's
jumped out of the plane when
amazing.
you were 6. You were 69 when you jumped out of the plane.
that's right. That's right. I was.
Time flies. Dang.
It does fly. And it's interesting that the first podcast I did, I was in my daughter's basement. And I remember it very, very well. Hi, Rory. And I thought it was interesting that I went to my daughter's yesterday. They wanted to host me for dinner. And my daughter wanted my grandbaby to get out of her hair for a couple of minutes. So she said, come take her to the park. I said, no problem. Earlier on, I wasn't expecting it, but okay. So I said, do you know whose birthday it is today? And she's 2, 2.5. And she's like, mine? And I was like, no, it's grandma's birthday. She goes, no, my birthday. And I was like, no, grandma's birthday. So this went on for a while. And I thought to myself, geez, this is very interesting that she's insistent on it being her birthday. And I said to my daughter, get me a couple of balloons. I could use it for tomorrow. And balloons associate, kids associate birthdays with balloons very much. Maybe she'll get it through her head that way when she sees me leaving the house with some of the balloons. She goes, okay. So when I was at her house and she very clearly said, Grandma, my birthday, Sammy's birthday. I said to her, oh, I'll share my birthday with you. And Jackie goes, well, that's not fair. Why are you sharing it with her? And I said, you know what? The honest truth is, neither one of you would have been born if I hadn't been born on this day. So in a big way, she is right. Like my daughter is, half of me. She wouldn't have been born at all. And of course, Sammy is a quarter. And I just thought to myself, how interesting that indeed the birth of the three of us has a lot to do with today. That was yesterday. So I am going to look at birthdays a little differently from now on. It's just interesting. I think that when you think about your own birthday, it might be kind of good to think of your mom in a different way, because we know she gave us birth, but it's just really interesting to see that, the birthday should be shared both ways. Hi, Pansy. So anyhow, I thought that was rather interesting. And why am I? Oh, that's interesting. Okay. All right. Hi, Brenda. Nice to see ya. Oh, Gary's here. Yay. Thank you for coming, guys. I really appreciate it very, very, very much. And as I said, it was a year ago that 2 years ago when I was in the basement and I was filming the first podcast with Abraham. Now, fast forward to 4 weeks, and guess what? I thought I was an expert. Because my son, I was so nervous the first couple of days. I didn't want to do any, and meaning that I thought I was going to completely blow it. And my son stayed on in the background. So it was literally about 4 weeks, and it was Ty Leon Guerrero, and I don't think he's here, but he was my guest. And I said to my son, don't worry, I think I've got it. And it was the worst experience I ever had in podcasting. I always start a little bit early, and there we were. And he's like, okay, everything's good. And I'm like, all right, let's bring it on. I'm looking at the freaking screen, and I'm like, where the fuck is the live button? I can't find the live button to go live. I looked and I looked. I couldn't find it. He was being very sweet. He was being very kind, very, gracious. So after what seemed like an eternity, I started to sweat and I started to think, oh my God, I'm not going to be able to go live. I can't figure out where the live is. And he says, you know what, Effie? It's okay. No one can see us. So just relax. I'm a very patient man. And I've been doing this a long time. Don't you worry none. And I was like, oh my God, I have the best guests. Thank you. So I took a deep breath and I kept looking. Now, okay, another 4 or 5 minutes goes by, nothing. And he's sitting there very, very quietly. And he says, hey, Effie, I don't want you to be offended, but can I ask you a question? And I said, yeah. And he goes, do you mind if I eat my lunch? He was on his lunchtime, right? I was like, no, of course, go ahead. So he's eating away and he's watching to see if it's going to come on. It was 18 fucking long minutes. My heart was going at the rate like nothing else. I was profusely sweating. I said to myself at one point, I'm going to die. I'm going to have a heart attack. I'm going to die on camera. And the only one who's going to see it is Ty. So it was really a shocking experience for me because my heart rate was going, my blood pressure was wild. My brain wasn't working. I was like, yeah, what the F, and we finally went live. And I can't remember who was there, if it was, I don't know, Pansy or I don't know who, Robin, one person was there. I said, wow, this person is still waiting, and they went and got some other people. And before long, we had, 6, 10 people. And I was just like, I don't even remember what I said through that whole podcast because I was just like, oh my God, my blood's running again. I can see, I think I'm going to live. I think I'm going to live. What an idiot I am. This conversation in my head was going whack. So I learned something about podcasting that day. One is that, man, I really started in a bad place. I was terrible. Oh. And the second thing is that as much as it felt like I was going to die, I did not die. So I have really, really enjoyed the last 2 years. I have enjoyed every single one of your interviews and the people who have come and watched and supported me. I've enjoyed it a lot. But every once in a while, I go back to that experience and I keep thinking, oh man, the learning curve. Anyone who wants to start one, hi, Marianne, is not, I think you don't know what it is until you do it. Now, someone like Caleb is on camera every day as part of his business. And I think the more you do it, the more comfortable you get. Absolutely. But it isn't all one way. Now when people tell me that they're nervous or that they aren't ready for this, I remember, Gabriela, how I was like, why are you feeling this way? Don't be silly. Of course you're ready. Well, I know it. I know it big time. And I'm grateful that I've lived through it. And I'm very, very appreciative. Then I switched software. Ask Franco how that went. Okay, StreamYard was very, very easy. Okay, so Zoom is essential, except that I don't know how to share, but that's beside the point. But when I switched to Riverside, because Riverside has a much higher quality, same thing all over again. Where the heck is everything? And that's like real editing software. And as a result, it's more complex. So I remember, Franco, you exercised some patience. And are we live? I don't know if we're live. Shall we try? I don't know. Shall we try? Anyways, so yeah, that's kind of the way it goes. So what about you guys? Some of you I had very early on. What has happened or transpired in your world since we last connected in front of the camera. Don't all rush to go first now. Marianne, I love the flowers. That's awesome.
Oh. I'm still trying to figure out how to get rid of them.
I can't help you.
Yeah, they're kind of stuck on my head now. I don't know. They got there and they're going to be with me till I figure it out. Or maybe they'll just stay there forever. But thank you. I guess I kind of stand out in the crowd with my little bling on my head.
Absolutely.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Hi.
I love the flowers too. That's pretty cute.
So
I
Jim-
want the palm tree background. I don't have that one.
Well,
oh,
actually, if I take my screensaver off, I have palm trees in my backyard.
really?
Yes, I do. I live in Naples, Florida.
Oh, how cool. So use the real thing, girl.
Well, I don't know how to change my screensaver either. So,
All right. Okay, I gotcha. Oh, that
so
is
Raz just said he has Airbnbs in Naples. Cool. We should connect. I have a couple rooms in my house that are Airbnb.
That's awesome.
I have to share something since we mentioned Airbnb. I think this is the coolest thing ever. We put our spare bedroom on Airbnb January, February, March. And during that time, not only do we have many people from, well, United States coming to our room, but we had Italy, we had Netherlands,
wow.
we had Czechoslovakia, and wait a minute. Oh, Dubai. Now, let me just tell you, I don't have a pool. I don't have a lanai. I just got a little house with a little porch with it's very tropical. It's old Naples, something that you don't typically see anymore because when you develop, everybody mows their grass and puts chemicals on it and all that stuff. And we got food and fruit and all that kind of stuff growing on. So when they come here, like this is like the coolest thing I've ever seen. But I just think it's so amazing that we have like this one or two little rooms here, nothing really special blinging going on here. Oh, we got these people international coming here. I don't even have to leave Naples. They just come. So that being
Awesome.
said, you're all welcome to come, okay?
Hey, be careful. This is going to go on air. You can never tell. People will take your number and then phone you and say, you welcomed me.
Well, I do. So that would not be a problem. I would love it. We
That's
love company.
Oh, Raz. Okay, Raz and Caleb are starting a fad.
What are they doing?
They put flowers
Oh,
on
no.
just
Oh,
like you.
no.
No, in the chat. I showed you in the chat where you can go to turn your filters on and off. I put some screenshots in there so you can figure it
Oh.
out. I got the little gangster glasses because that's how helpful I am.
Oh, we got a gangster in the house. I think I got one on my road, but that's another story.
No, can I tell you a funny story about Zoom? Someone who shall go nameless was
Okay.
in my TC Zoom, and it was like a week or two. I can turn these off. It was like a week or two, and I'm like, it was a woman. Does she have a mustache? Or is it a filter? I'm pretty sure it's a filter. I'm like 99% sure it's a filter. But that 1% is not worth a friendship if I'm like, hey, you can turn off the mustache filter, Like, you can't just say that to a woman.
No.
Meanwhile, so for those of you who are new to Zoom, there's like a video button, a little pop-up button right there, and there's video filters you can turn on. And then she turned sideways, and I saw the mustache like floating and glitching a little bit, and I was like, thank God. I said, hey, and I said her name. She said, what? Can I help you with the mustache? And she goes, my brother. I said, I know, I've been watching it for 2 weeks, hoping we can help you turn it off, but it wasn't worth risking it to tell you. So anyway, that's where it is. A little video button, a little up arrow, and filters in case anybody gets trapped like that. So we took her mustache off, and she was a happy camper.
I'll bet. My God. My God. Abraham, when you and I first talked, you were doing, how has your business changed since our first interview when we first talked?
I just keep doing different, more stuff, but I don't know that it changed a whole lot. But like, as the markets go up and down and real estate goes up and down, I just kind of do a little bit of different stuff. So sometimes I'm doing more fix and flip. Sometimes I'm doing more creative deals. Sometimes I'm doing more business buying. It just kind of depends on the market, but it's very similar. It's just based on how things are going. Like in the last 2 years, the market has gone up and down a lot. There's been times where fix and flipping has been great, and there's times where the market was dead for a few months at a time. So you just got to kind of pivot and figure out the best way to, the best thing to do when the market changes.
What do you think is going to be coming down the pike?
And it's so hard to tell, but I could tell you that so from like November through or December through maybe March, or like the first part of March, it was really slow. The market came down a lot. But I can tell you over the last 3-4 weeks, it's started to pick up a lot. So it's definitely getting a lot better now. I know, because I always have tons of houses I'm working on, and I have probably 10 properties on the market that I just fixed up. So a lot of times they sell really fast. And I know for that 3-4 month period, they were going really slow. Not many people looking at them. Now there's a lot more people looking at them. I'm getting a lot more offers now, and they're going faster. So in all these different areas. So I can see the market's getting a little bit better.
With fix
But
and flips?
it's so hard to tell. Trump's process, things he's doing, it can make stuff get a lot better. It can make stuff get a lot worse in the short period of time. I think long term, I think it's going to be really good. But over the next 3-6 months, it's anyone's guess.
I hear you.
People need to buy houses. People need to live.
Yep.
So it's just a matter of what happens with interest rates, what happens with how much new construction there is, because that hurts also, fix and flips, and how the economy is. Do people have extra money to put into it, and do they feel prices are going to go up or down? If all these tariffs happen and prices do go up a lot, that's going to make houses go up. So people would buy houses now because they're going to think, well, it's going to cost a lot more to build them, later. So that could also help, and that also usually will lower interest rates. So it's just, it can go anyway. But I'll tell you one thing: no matter how it goes, there's a way to make a lot of money.
On one side or the other.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And Gary pointed out that, this is normally the high season for real estate, except for vacation areas. How are you seeing it in California, Gary?
Well, Effie, we're looking at micro markets. That's what I see. Small areas can be sellers markets, very strong, while other areas are hurting. And yet it's a patchwork quilt. That's what I'm seeing. And I think that it's probably like that across the country right now. Although this is the season for people with kids that want to get moved before the school year starts. Of course, in California, it seems like the school year never ends. But we're getting to the point where, it starts in August and it finishes in June, and there's just 4 weeks there. But most areas are still following a more traditional schedule, I think.
Interesting. I also have to say that I mustn't forget, I guess it was in November of 2023. Anybody remember anything happening that was special?
November of 23.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving.
Rory?
So the mastermind?
We started our first company.
Oh, okay. When was the mastermind? Is that that was November as well, right?
It was a little bit before. Yeah.
Okay.
So we got our EIN
Time is
number.
flying by.
Yeah, we got our EIN number in November. So Rory and I, he was the first person that I actually partnered with. And it's been a while now. And we've been doing wholesaling in Florida, and then in Charlotte, and also Atlanta. So it's kind of interesting to see. We've had our 1-year anniversary, heading towards 2. Pretty amazing.
That really flew by. When you said the year a while ago, I was like, oh, wow.
Yes. And we're open to pivoting too, because things do change. So it's interesting to me to see, who's buying in Florida? I don't know. Marianne wants to know who's buying in Florida. Oh, now I have some echo. Oh, I think it's, there we go. All right. So if you're buying in Florida, oh, Pansy's buying in Jacksonville. Good, good. So how have your, oh yeah, Florida market, down, 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 down. Yep, you bet.
Down, 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 down. Yep.
Yeah, for sure. So who has seen
Time
big
to
changes?
buy.
And Dubai?
No,
Yeah.
time to buy.
Yeah,
It's time to buy. Yes.
if you can afford to hold on,
Yeah.
because your money gets tied up, right?
Look, Florida's taken, a beating for several reasons. The insurance industry has been on life support for years now. The double whammy with the hurricanes this past year, the condo
Interest rates.
hit with forcing these condos that have been neglecting their infrastructure for years, being forced to now reinvest and improve, and special assessments that are basically wiping out the entire value of some of the condos where people would rather walk away from them than pay the special assessments. So there's a bunch of things happening in Florida. Some people are saying that it's a bellwether for the rest of the country. I hope not, but we certainly have microcosms of that kind of problem happening here in California and high fire areas. We're going to see it in, other places, other states where fire is an issue, floods are an issue, severe weather is an issue. So again, that's what I'm saying, that there's a lot of micro markets happening right now.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because getting to know the market means you have to know it at a very deep level.
Well, I think you need to go in and when you're approaching a market and really got to focus on absorption rates and to take the temperature of a market. And unfortunately, most people don't even understand what an absorption rate is, let alone how to calculate it. And that's not a ready-made stat that you can find easily, but it's so simple. It's such a simple measure to understand.
I could
Yeah.
use some more explaining on what an absorption rate is, though.
All right. Well, it's how much of the inventory, the available inventory is being purchased in any given month. It's a percentage of inventory. So it's simple calculation. How much inventory do we have in January? How much is sold in January? And to take the amount sold, divide by the available inventory, and you've got an absorption rate. Now, the traditional wisdom is if it's lower than 20, you're in a buyer's market. If it's over 20, you're in a seller's market. Well, I can show you markets in Southern California that are pushing 40%, and I can show you markets that are well under 20. And they're not that far away from each other sometimes, which is kind of scary.
Yeah.
So I think if you're an investor and you want to tune in, look at absorption rates, understand what they are and how to calculate them. And that will give you measures of the market. And, out here, for instance, Palm Springs, the hottest market always. Now it's the worst market in Coachella Valley at the moment because what the town did with STRs. They allowed overdevelopment of SDRs. The property values became way overinflated because of SDRs. And then they were forced to change the rules. But let's give you an example. There are neighborhoods in Palm Springs where more than 40% of the homes are short-term rentals. Now, to me, that's not a neighborhood. That's a hotel with roads instead of hallways. So, mismanagement by local government is factored heavily into the decline there. I think it'll eventually hit a bottom number and things will bottom out. But right now, year over year, 10% decline in median in prices, a huge slowing of sales, a lot of accumulating inventory. And this is the story we're seeing in various places that have been over speculated. I think we're going to see this in Texas as well, because Texas isn't immune to the insurance problems, and there have been over speculation. Anyway, I'll get off my little soapbox here. Hey,
It's
Effie,
very interesting. It's very
Effie,
interesting, Gary.
I do want to thank you
Hmm?
for your podcast, because I was with some colleagues on a Zoom in Northern California with a bunch of Fathom agents, and they seemed to know all this stuff about me. And I said, "Well, how do you guys know this?" And they said, "We saw you on What the Effie." So your reach is pretty significant.
Well, thank you.
So
Thank you.
kudos for that.
I appreciate it. It's hard earned. It's hard earned. By the way, if anyone has not subscribed, please subscribe. I cannot believe, it's interesting to see the growth. I thought I was never going to get a 1,000. I thought, nah, and everybody's like, you got to get rid of that tinny mic. If you do, okay, I have my mic. Thank you very much. And then I was like, okay, well, 1,594 is a freaking number. I haven't been able to budget. Not for a while. And I think the more I look at it, the more it's ground and, like carved in stone. It's kind of funny. So thank you, Gary. It is one of the things that I realized there's two numbers that you have as a podcaster, because I have always done them live. And, it's how many people show up and, that sort of thing. But when I go back after a few weeks, after a month, after 2 months, after a year, it's interesting to see what happens with the numbers. And, obviously I went back to see some of the podcasts for the campaign I did. And I chose one that Raz had done because I thought it was interesting when he talked about, the companies for laundry business. And yet at the same time, he's actually looking to, he's letting that go. So it's interesting. Things happen, they change, obviously. And it is an interesting way of having done it now for 2 years. I realize that there's a fair amount. There's a lot of cycles going on. I was talking with Kevin Chow, who I thought might be here, but everybody's really busy. And I know that they'll catch it when they can. And yesterday we had been talking, or was it the day before? And I'm actually thinking of reassessing how I'm going to do the podcast in the future. So I feel that, okay. I feel that I'm going to go from being live to pre-recording, because just about everyone who I talk to who's doing podcasts are doing it pre-recorded, with the exception of really, really big people, like Pace and such. And there's a scale of economy if I do it on pre-recording, because then I can do 1 day a month of just recordings and then schedule them so that it doesn't take an entire day of a week. Mondays aren't the entire day, but I have always spent quite a bit of time doing research. You say, Gary, how'd they know about you? I always research my guests before I actually, ask them things. Abraham didn't have much then, other than he didn't wear shoes. That was on the web already. But you guys are all pretty much on the internet now, so I can find you somewhere. And I try to find things that give me food for asking intelligent questions. I've gotten much better at asking better questions and adding more value to the podcast. But I think that doing it on a live, I like the idea, but I do see the efficiency and the scaling of doing it pre-recorded. Anyone want to argue on that? Congratulations, Pansy. Are you doing it live or are you doing it pre-recorded?
We did some pre-recorded, but we did one live so far. So we
what are you-
haven't, we're gonna start bringing people on, so we might do pre-recorded. I don't know.
Well, I will tell you that live can be more stressful too. Like I said earlier, when I thought I was going to have a heart attack, and I was so embarrassed about wasting so much time from Ty. But if that had been pre-recorded, I would have been much more relaxed because I couldn't stand the idea that people were waiting and that they were probably thinking I was a flake, and I was a freaking flake because I couldn't find the go live button.
Yeah.
The
One of
stress would
ours,
be less.
yeah, we were trying to go live before on my YouTube channel. And the one day I was trying to get it started because I had actually made a post that it's going to be this time. And then my computer started acting goofy. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't, it won't let me go live. So I'm like, Justin, I'm going to have to tell you my information and you're going to have to log in and you're going to have to go live. And he's like, what? I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, he's a tech person, but he never tried to go live, on YouTube. And I'm like, it's easy here. And I just gave him my information and we were able to do it. But like, yeah, that easily frustrated me at first. I was like all flustered and everything. But I don't know. Now we've been going live quite a bit here and there. So it's not as bad. But I get what you're saying when you're trying to get set up. And even if you think you're set up, and then all of a sudden you go to hit that button and something goes wrong and you're like, oh man,
Yeah. Well, after doing a little over 100 actually, but let's say 100, I'm relatively comfortable in going live, but things like internet, weather here, Chicagoland's crazy. Chicago. So you can expect that you're going to have some issues with that. There's just a whole bunch of things that can happen. And I'm realizing as much as it is nice to have folks in the chat, which I've always enjoyed, I think the benefit of being able to relax more, and if the internet didn't work, okay, let's just get on in another hour, whatever. It's a lot easier. So I think I am going to go that route. And it is interesting to me to see how many folks are getting into podcasting. I know that Pace has continued to push it, and that's good. A lot of good things have come out of this, guys, besides the fact that I'm partnering with a bunch of you, which, is awesome. I may have very well partnered with you anyhow, maybe not. But the point is, a lot of very good things have come out of it. And I know that it's helped you, like the fact, like, whatever it is that's going out there, whether it's somebody knew about Gary or the clips that Caleb, I should have even, thank you for pointing that out. This is something I'm going to say for anyone who is going to do a podcast. If you're doing clips and you're putting them out, you should try to collaborate with the person who's in it. I used to do it all the time, Caleb, but no one ever took me up on it. So I said, forget it.
What losers? The collaborator post is the best on Instagram. You both get full credit for it. That's
Totally.
like, you were my turning point. I was about to swear off of podcasts. And then I was like, wait a minute, she's posting stuff and she can just add me as collaborator. That saves me hours worth of editing my own content. And we both get credit for that. Heck yeah, I'm in.
Of course. And the honest truth is that if you're in a position like, well, Caleb is in front of the camera all the time. So if he wants to record, he could. But I understand what he's saying about being on podcasts. Being on a podcast is different than having a podcast. So I would say the number one, get on a podcast. Having a podcast is good too, but it's a lot more on the other side, on work. And I think I encourage all of you guys to get on podcasts and go slower on starting your own podcast just because it's more work. It's more work. But the nice thing about it is you get to go whichever direction you want. So I don't think there's a single person in here who isn't in sub 2 or Gator, right? Is there anyone here who is not in sub 2 or in Gator? Because there's $1,000 waiting for you if you are.
There's a technicality. I'm no longer in sub 2, technically. I was with a partner.
Oh, I remember. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I say I'm still there. So,
Of course. Of course. Yes. And I would bet, ask.
Pace said I was still there on one of his on one of his lives. So I'm just going with it.
That's nice. That's nice. That's good. Well, what sort of things are you guys all getting into, or where do you see your efforts being invested? If you don't mind, drop in the chat what you are working on currently. And for me, that would be co-living and lending, raising capital. What are you guys all in? And has it changed? Oh, Ralph, yeah, you're getting into land. I want to talk to you about that. And co-living. Of course. Let's go. Me too.
A co-living in vacant land.
Yep. Okay, nice, nice.
Residential, nice.
Oh, Rose, all right, assisted living and starting to lend. Okay, good, good. Yep, Robin's looking at co with Jamil, which is cool. Nice. Way to go, Brenda. Nice. Caleb, are you going to be doing anything other than your business? Because your business is pretty time consuming, I'm sure.
It is. You mean other projects to take on, like buying?
Yeah, like are you going to
Or-
change any, add different things to your direction?
I am gradually doing that. I spent the last year saying no to everything and getting super narrow. And so now we have very satisfied customers, and I want to gradually add back certain services. But I'll tell you this. One thing as a TC that I did not like, nor did my customers, was post-closing services. They keep asking for it, but guess what? It doesn't go very cleanly because we're not you, and so we can't act on your behalf very well. And so we have sworn off of that because I don't want to end a 5-star service with a 2-star experience. That's not my fault. So we've just not done that. And I'm trying to find ways to add back what some of the people are asking for. But I think we're going to stay steady, and I'm going to add by starting the title company and having other ancillary businesses and services that can go alongside with what we offer as a core product.
Nice. When you say that the add-on after, what are you talking about?
Oh,
After-
post-closing services where
Yeah.
like where we do your
Okay, you just froze on me.
property. Oh no. What? Am I back yet?
Yep.
Okay. I mean, like setting up your insurance, your finding your utilities, and engaging with a property manager. It's like property managing a property manager. I don't know. It's not my favorite thing to do. At some point, if you're buying a sub 2, you've got to own it. And I feel like the post-closing services is a lot of people trying to be cool and own sub 2s without having to act like they own sub 2s.
Hmm.
Wise call, wise call. Yeah, post-closing documents, but not post-closing services. I agree.
Yeah, I have to. Now, I'll support you. I'll tell you what you need to do, but you've got to go do the doing, and I'm not going to do that for you. And I think that's one of the hard parts where people break off and they're like, "Well, I want you to do it for me." Well, you got to own your own house.
Got it.
So adding on capital, title, maybe if I co-own the property, like if you want to pull me in as a JV, I'm not doing this necessarily. But if I was going to get back into post-closing, it would be as a co-owner. But I don't want to get into all that.
Well, It depends. I mean, if you could get scales of economy, then yes, but if you got to do one property with each person, maybe not.
Yeah.
You know, that's not very
Yeah.
economical. So Ralph, you're saying you're gonna hold off on fix and flips. Talk to me about why and what you're finding in land.
So as far as fix and flips, um, it's just the margins are just too small right now for me. And there's always something that goes wrong. I mean, it's 100% of the time something comes up, and if you don't have that margin to be able to cover it, then you're in trouble. And so I'm just going to hold off for another few months at least. Last year, as I told you before, I was doing between 2 and 3 a month fix and flips, and we did really well. But after the turn of the year, it just bottomed out, and so I can't. I have several that I had to get loans on, and I'm holding them now. So I'm just on hold as far as fix and flips.
Interesting. And what did you, why land and how are you finding it so far?
Well, it's been pretty good so far. I actually brought my son in to help on this, and I was trying to set it up for him for the long run. And so we're automating quite a bit of it, so we don't have to do as much ourselves. Uh, and we're doing mostly infill lots, so the vacant lots in developments, and that's mostly what we're working on right now. Not so much any of the subdivisions or anything like that yet. Maybe someday, but not quite yet. So it's been pretty good so far. It's been very active, and there's a lot of interest because people need money, and there's a lot of property in Florida, especially that where the lots have been split and they have utilities and everything, but nobody has built on them yet.
So how are you deciding what cities to look into?
We're looking for the hot spots, so wherever they're building the most, and that's kind of we don't take the most active areas. We take the second or the third down, just so we don't have to have so much competition. And so we're in most of the areas, we're one of the only people doing it, so we're doing pretty well so far.
It's interesting that there's not competition in that.
Well, there is, but it's a lot less than houses.
Mm, gotcha. Gotcha. Hey, Franco, what are you talking about? How small?
Hey, Effie. Just so like maybe a couple properties first. That's what I was looking to do. So I'm supposed to be closing next week on a house that I'm planning to subdivide the land. So it's like 1.5 acres, but I only need about 15,000 square feet per lot. So I'm planning to subdivide that, turn the main house into a pad split. It was actually an old pad split that I'm gonna turn back into a pad split. The previous owner decided to reconvert it and sell it. I wish he didn't, because I would have just bought it as is. But yeah, so I'm gonna turn it back into a pad split while I'm getting everything else entitled, and then do development. I've been exploring it for a couple years now. I've just been kind of busy with my other businesses I've been doing, but this year I promised myself to do it. So this year is kind of the year I want to do it. And I've been playing with the idea of doing a modular build.
Oh,
Um, and so I haven't finalized. I talked to a few modular companies. Modular is actually kind of tricky to finance because a lot of lenders won't finance it. I've talked to a few that will. I'm still deciding if I'm going to self-finance it myself because rates jumped up. I don't know if you guys experienced this. Like I have two houses that I'm stuck in. Rates jumped up like a lot in the last 3 days. Where I was like I was getting 6.5. I was working to get the refinance, and now I'm getting 8.5 or like 8.37 or something crazy like that right now in my houses. So I have to figure out what I'm gonna do there. But yeah, so I'm planning to do that this year. I think it's a temporary thing though. I think rates might start coming back down maybe once things stabilize. Just you got like a shock. Everyone just got shocked in the
you
last
think that
couple of
you
days.
actually think they're going to come down?
I do. I actually think, I mean, here's the problem though, right? When rates are slower to come down than they are to go up.
Mhm.
So I think, yes, I do think they're going to come down. The problem is they're going to be really slow again, probably, unless something really major happens, is my guess. in the treasury markets. If rates start dropping really quickly in the treasury markets, I think we might see a little bit moves down, but it'll still be slow. Because even when rates started dropping down like earlier this year, it was really slow. So I mean, I think they'll get back down there, but it might just be a slower process. I think maybe by the end of the year we'll be in a better position.
And a bit, okay.
Yeah. So,
Anyone
but I
else
still
feel
think
this?
development though, even though with that, because it's probably I feel like I would have the best margins there. So for my refinance, because I'll probably be in it deeper. I got the land for free almost if I redivide it, if things worked out well. So I think I'll be in a good spot. So that's the only reason why I think I'm gonna push through with it, and I'm gonna do it small scale, like one house at a time. And then turn them into co-housing. I plan to do them co-housing properties is my
Got
plan.
it. But it would have to be something that you got almost for free or at a really deep discount.
I think for me, because you kind of know me, I'm a little bit conservative, and when it comes to like something like new like that for me, like this would be my first development project, so I'm not a developer or anything like this would be my first time. But I like pushing myself to try to do something a little bit different, and I think I might be able to get my construction costs down quite a bit, if things play out right. So if I have to do the refinance, I think I'll be in a good position.
Got it. Now, besides Abraham, is there anybody else who's doing lending, like on a scale? What do you see, Abraham, with interest rates?
So honestly, I've been doing lending for so long that I haven't even seen for the type of lending I do for fix and flips. When the interest rates go way down or way up, I don't see being able to get a whole lot more, or people really care to pay much less. So it doesn't really affect a whole lot. Obviously, if interest rates drop a ton, they want to pay a tiny bit less, but not significant, and most people don't even care. And when it goes up, it doesn't really affect us because we're not really basing it on what the interest rates are. We're charging so much more than the interest rate is anyway. It's the convenience, and a hard money lender is going to charge close to, around the same price no matter what. If they charge a little bit less, it's not significant. If they charge a little bit more, it's not super significant. So I don't think the interest rates affect this type of lending business much.
Because of who you're lending to.
Yeah, they're short-term loans. They're the
Yeah.
type of loans that only, banks don't loan on fix and flips, only hard money lenders, and their rates don't change significantly. There might be one or two that does, but most of them kind of stayed the same the whole time the rates were really high, or when they came down. They weren't a big enough difference to where people really saw much.
Interesting. All right.
For DSCR loans is a big difference. Like if you're getting loans long term for rentals, those are drastic. But on the short term flips, the 6-month loans are not enough to where it really affects somebody that much.
Yeah. Okay. So Jennifer and Jeremiah, I want to hear from you guys. Tell me what you're up to.
Hello. I have a couple of midterm rentals, but right now it seems like things are kind of slowing down. So I'm about to purchase one on seller financing. So I'm thinking about looking at long-term rentals, and I want to get into the insurance business of, calling companies and kind of getting into that realm just to get more housing. I have several neighbors that are in midterm, long-term. So I'm like, and they're struggling as well. So I'm like, if I could start there and maybe create that business to help others, get their places rented, then that might be a good deal. I'm in Hot Springs, Arkansas, so central Arkansas. And this is
Been there.
Huh?
I've been there.
You have? Yeah, I love the city. It's a national park, so the tourism is crazy. Like it's busy all the time. I live downtown, so it's constantly busy. It used to be just during racing season. We have a race track as well, but now it is constantly busy year round. So what I have found with mine is it's more medical travelers, and then there has been some that were from the track and some that were just contractors here. So I don't know. I just thought about just pivoting a little bit to help myself and others in this business. And then also, my heart is wanting to start some sort of either tiny homes on a piece of property or co-living for single moms. I help in our community with outreach and different organizations that help find housing for folks, but also helping with utilities and just all kinds of things. And the single moms, when they're getting their own place finally, it's just, I see it just a struggle to have to pay all of the bills. So
Yeah.
I thought if I could just create a community for them so that they can have that support and with each other and even with the community, you know, and then helping each other out. So I met today with one of the city planners to kind of give her my idea and then her to give me her feedback and then just kind of go from there and get some resources and kind of see the rezoning around here. So I'm just trying to get as much information as I can and then find the properties and then just go from there. But I've been sitting on this for a year and it's action time. So I'm like going to do all of my work and then make this happen.
Wow.
Jennifer, I love that.
You've got some wonderful
Love
ideas
it.
there.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I love
Way to
it.
go. Now, Jennifer, have you reached out at all to Tanisha?
Not. She was on my radar for a while, and then I've kind of gotten off of the daily dials and stuff. But I have been thinking about her about that, and I'm also an insurance agent as well.
Oh,
So
good.
I need to kind of start reaching out and doing that stuff. And I may kind of reach out to her and see her.
Good. Hey, was Tanisha at Squad Up?
I didn't see her. I don't know if she was.
I haven't seen her for a while. I was thinking about her the other day. I was like, where's Tanisha? You know, I'll have to find out. But she's a wealth of knowledge and contacts in there, and she's very kind. So
Yeah,
get a hold of her and see if she can guide you on the insurance, on the midterm rental stuff. She's very good at it.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. That was very inspirational. Thank you, Elvin. Hey,
love
Jeremiah. You're up. Tell me what you're up to.
Hey guys, how's it going? Yeah, I really love what you're doing, Jennifer, just with the co-living model to really help single mothers. I think that's awesome. But I'm right now just working on getting started in private money lending, just working in the crawl phase. My life is kind of chaotic right now. I'm in a busy season with 5 kids, and my wife's working full time too. So I'm just trying to make headway, just do something small each day to get the ball rolling with an old self-directed IRA that I got rolled over. And ultimately, long term, I want to do what Alexis and Abraham are doing. We came off the private money lending mastermind, which was just absolutely mind blowing, amazing. Yeah, thank you for that, Abraham. And which it was cool to meet you, Effie, there, and look forward to continuing to grow these relationships and just also working on networking. When I first started out in Sub 2, like I just tried to do everything on my own, and it just failed miserably. And now I realize like the power of networking, and that when they say your net worth equals your network, or your network equals your network, that's really the message was really driven home to me. And so yeah, just networking and getting the ball rolling.
I hear you. I hear you. And in that regard, if you want to force yourself, do a podcast because it is a lot about networking and getting to know, who's there and lifting them, because when you put them in a spotlight, obviously you're going to bring some attention to them. And that's a wonderful thing to do, but it's also building a network. So I agree. You got to get out there and you got to network. It's not always easy. I mean, I've wanted to try to get to know Andrea for a long, long time. She just doesn't talk to me. See if I can goad her into saying something. That's not true. Andrea is very, very kind and very nice. But I know it can be difficult to get to know some people. And that's all there's to it. You have to work harder, but then it's worth it in the long run. So Isa, do you want to talk up? I don't think I know a whole lot about what you're doing. Lisa says, no, I'm not coming on camera. Yeah, we do love Andrea. Okay. Well, any last words or comments from anyone? Any concepts?
Can I say 2 words?
Of course.
My 2 words might be more than 2 words, just saying. You might want to, okay. So I'm relatively new to sub 2, and I'm in Naples here, and I really could probably use some help. I kind of dove into the training, and then then you have, of course, the YouTube, and then this person and that person, and you get, I don't know if it's shiny or derailed or down the railroad track. I'm not really sure what you could call it, but I was all over the place absorbing everything. And it didn't, I mean, I got the general information and all areas of everything, but then not really anything specific. But I will tell you that when I was in Connecticut, before I moved to Naples, I ran a transitional home. And my heart's desire is really to help in the co-living aspect, because transitional housing, basically, that's really what it was. And I did all the social services and interviewing and administrative things like that, and social services for them. And so I'm here in Naples, which we have a pretty high demographic of older women over 65, which is right where I am. I would just love some input if somebody could direct me at some point, come alongside me as I can start researching into the town, what you said. I have some things, names and numbers and so on. And I know there's always money that can be used. But I think just taking that big step, I just feel like I have this big undertaking sitting here, and I'm trying to do it by myself, and I'm really just feeling like I'm sinking ship, not really getting very far. So I jumped on with Effie today earlier, and I sent her a message, and this kind of like, oh, what am I doing? And then she reminded me that today was one of the 100th celebration, and then I popped on. I'm like, oh, maybe this is a good thing. I'm here. This is good. So
I think it's helpful, Marianne, to make sure you know where you're going. And it definitely have to look around. We're all big squirrels at the beginning, except maybe Abraham. He was like, I'm making money this way. But point being, we all have been, spending time looking and trying to figure out what to do. And definitely you see Jennifer saying, let's connect.
Oh, I'd love to.
I was going to say, Marianne, let's connect. And I know who you should connect with in Florida too.
Perfect.
So,
because
yeah.
that's what you need to do, is you need to find out who isn't one step ahead of you, but at least 3, 4, 5, and go and see how you can work with them, because that's the best way to cut down your learning curve and to not make as many mistakes, is to go and, connect yourself with people that are not just 1 or 2 steps ahead of you, because otherwise you're just the blind leading the blind. But people who have done it, and find out how you can add value to them. If they're doing what you want to do, then just offer as much as you can. I got you, Julie, no worries. Well, I want to say thank you, everyone. And there will be, of course, some changes coming down the pike for What the Effie. And I think mostly it will be that they're going to be pre-recorded, I think, from now on, mostly. I'll occasionally do a live one because it's fun, but pre-recording is the way I think I'm going to go. And the focus is going to pivot a little bit more towards lending and raising capital, as well as co-living. And anytime, if you have anyone that you think is super interesting, that you think I should interview, let me know. I'm also starting to go outside of sub 2. I already did before, but in a bigger way. Yeah. Anyhow, I'm shooting for the stars. There are some people that I'm asking that, they're like, who? I say in Pace's community. They go, whose community? Pace Morby's community? Who's Pace Morby? It's funny. So I am actually thinking, to reach as high as I can. I mean, why not? But I want to say thank you very, 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 very much for being here. Thanks, guys. And next year, come again.
We'll be here.
We'll be here. Got it. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
See you, Effie. Happy belated birthday.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.